Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known by BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis, in the county. It's in the state of Tennessee. Today and date is early Monday morning, July the 15th, 2019. The time 2:20 a.m. First, I thank all my family, my support for your continued encouragement support. I'm continuing to keep myself employed right here in the Memphis tri-state area. I'm continuing to further my education, more work out online, pursuing my social degree, studying business administration, concentration marketing at this present time, taking a break from going to school. But in the very near future, I will be going back to Monroe College online to continue to pursue my social degree, studying business administration, concentration marketing. Excuse me. Now, in January of 2019, I enrolled at Health Tech Institute of Memphis in a medical assistant program, and it was a 9-month program, and it's right here in this Memphis tri-state area. And the reason why I did that, because back in 2009, 2010, I was a student at Remington College, right here in the Memphis tri-state area. I was enrolled in a medical billing and coding program, and I got my diploma, but didn't get the certification. So if you don't have the certification, then you won't be employed in the healthcare field. So what I'm doing, I'm getting my certification in excuse me, in medical assistant. And so that's the reason why I enrolled at Health Tech Institute of Memphis, and I'm still enrolled in the school. And I'm gonna have to be honest. I'm gonna have to really be honest about this school. Is that recently at Health Tech Institute of Memphis, there's been some things that have been going on the inside of the building. See, people do things. Excuse me. It's just like when I be at work, and I said something about people doing things, on the inside of the building when I go to work. But that's the same issue that I'm having at this Health Tech Institute of Memphis. See, it's just like I'm at home right now. I'm not at the school, and a person called, a personal persons at their school, like the principal and instructor and things of that nature. Because it's like a family-owned business, you think you can harass and disrespect another person on the inside of the building. But see, that's what the situation has become, and so I'm trying to deal with that issue right now at this Health Tech Institute of Memphis. So like I said, I'm dealing. I want all my fans, my support, to know that that's what I'm dealing with right now at this Health Tech Institute of Memphis. That this so-called family-owned business, man, these people act like you can get away with doing things on the inside of the building. You wait till people come over there to that building, and then you act like you getting away with committing a crime, and you getting away with disrespecting other people. You getting away with doing all kind of other stuff, at this Health Tech Institute of Memphis. So I keep you informed on it. So, well, another thing I wanted to make sure I continue to emphasize is that there's no such thing as no gang. First of all, that's the whole point I've been making. That's the reason why you see me anti-gang. First of all, there's no such thing. Never has been. Never has been. It was always wrong. See, it's always go back in history. See, when you have all these colleges and universities, and you have all these so-called historians, and you going back in history, you read your Bible, the Perizzites, Jebusites, Girgasites, the Hittites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, and all of them. And the Midianites and the Moabites and the Philistines and all them back in the Old Testament. Well, see, those people were what we refer to as devil worship, and they were deceived by the devil. They were deceived. There was a lot of people deceived by the devil. That's what the Old Testament tells you. There was a lot of people who the devil deceived. And it's still reaching, it still comes all the way back to today. You have people who have God's word, but for some apparent reason, you call yourself still trying to listen to them people. You call yourself trying to listen to them people that we just got to mention. That's what them old world secret societies be doing. See, them old world secret societies, that's what they be doing. See, the information that them so-called devil worshippers left, them old world secret societies, that's what their literature is. And then the sororities and the fraternities that them old world secret societies started. Because see, that's who they be listening to. That's who the sororities and the fraternities listen to. They listen to them old world secret society. And then when you get out on the street, the so-called street gangs, street organizations, they be listening to the so-called sororities and fraternities. And see, it's all wrong. It's all wrong. And so continue to read God's word and continue to stand on God's word. There's no such thing as no devil worship, never have been. That's the main point we're gonna always make. That's the main point. It never has been. There's no such thing as no devil worship. There's no such thing. No, it never has been. It's always been God. God don't have no enemy. God don't have no rival. See, you be lying. You be lying. Just like them people from the past were lying because they were deceived by the devil. Them old world secret society be lying. The sororities and the fraternities be lying. These street organizations, street gangs and all that be lying. You just be lying, man. You just a lie. Then you got the nerve to be violent. Well, see, that's the reason why I do the things I do. You ain't nobody to be scared of. And nobody got to be afraid of you. Just a bunch of lying cowards, some bitches. Now, like I've been saying, people going up and down the East Coast saying all that street slang stuff. Then you got the nerve to try to leave the East Coast because that's supposed to be your so-called base, the whole damn East Coast. From Florida all the way up to Maine, supposed to be the base, the East Coast. Then you got based on history, people left the East Coast, then went to Illinois, Chicago, used that as a base. Use Chicago, Illinois as a base. Then recently, back in the early 60s and the early, the early 1900s, after the United States had expanded to California, then got the state of California to become a state and all this. So you have to know your history now. You have to know your history. And then by the time the state of California became a state and started setting up counties and cities and all that, the city of Los Angeles became another base for the so-called criminals, organized crime. Excuse me. Los Angeles County, California became like another base. Another base for organized crime, the criminals. And so then you see what you see today. And so there's no such thing, no gang. So like I said, keep as many automatic rifles on the street as possible. And cause ain't nobody running from nobody on the East Coast. Ain't nobody afraid for no bitches, or them bitches over there. Talking about you in a gang and all this, and them sororities and fraternities and things of nature. So make sure we keep plenty of automatic rifles. Plenty of automatic rifles. Need as many automatic rifles on the street as possible. Up there in Chicago, and get as many automatic rifles on the street and keep, saturate the street with automatic rifles. get as many automatic rifles as you can. And as for that East Coast stuff, like I said, man, get it, hand grenades. Cause see, they be going up and down the East Coast, up and down the East Coast. And you ain't got to spend your time trying to, when you see people do something like that, they go all the way down from the state of Florida, all the way up to the state of Maine. It can be white people, it can be African Americans. Now you got all these Hispanic, Latino people. Then you got people coming from Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, coming to the East Coast. And then you got other people coming from Haiti, Jamaica. The point is, you got excuse me, with all that Rastafari and stuff, and all that Catholic stuff, and all this, all that Islam stuff. Now you got people coming from other parts of the world. Well, see, it always has been that way. People are coming from other countries, other parts of the world, to the East Coast. Just like the state of New York, what they call it, Ellis Island. People coming from all over the world to immigrate to America, and they come over here with all that gang and mob stuff. See, so this is what people who not from the East Coast having to deal with. See, people on the East Coast go up and down the East Coast with this gang and mob stuff. Then some of them, they'll leave the East Coast, and then they be listening to the people on the East Coast, they so-called gang leaders on the East Coast. Then they try to recruit people from Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, so on and so forth, and North Dakota, South Dakota, Seattle, Washington. The people from the East Coast, they try to recruit people from California. You see, you need some hand grenades. Need hand grenades. Now see, if you use automatic rifles, you be driving and you're shooting. Use your common sense. When you having to get into an altercation, you can use automatic rifles still. But you need some hand grenades for people that have that attitude. That's the way you feel about people in Mississippi and Alabama. You're gonna go up and down the East Coast. You ain't even trying to read God's word. It's not right. You're not right. You're not right. That's the whole point. You're not right. Talking about the Constitution. You're not right. And don't nobody have to be afraid of you. Nobody to be scared of you. Get some hand grenades and throw them at them on the East Coast, because you're not right. Now, like I said, you get as many automatic rifles in Chicago, Illinois, because the people from the East Coast try to come up there and do so. That, like I said, don't never stop getting automatic rifles and bullets. Now, in that area, trying to use your common sense. If you use some explosive, it'll draw a whole lot of attention in that area. That's the reason why I say keep a lot of automatic rifles. See, eventually, you do like you're supposed to do. You get them automatic rifles and go out on the street and clean the streets up. Eventually, the only people who will be on the street is the people who doing what's right, because there ain't no way in the world you can come back up there. See, this has been the problem in the past. It's people not doing what they supposed to do, and you've been letting people get all the way up to Chicago, and then be in Chicago, and then have everybody else, just like the people down here in Tennessee and Mississippi and Louisiana, and people in Nebraska and Colorado. By the time you look around, it never should have been no Bloods and Crips in Illinois, because there ain't no such thing, no gang. How you get that far? How you get that far? Well, see, you ain't do what you're supposed to do. So, and to add on to that, if this is what I want to make sure that you don't do what you're supposed to do about Los Angeles, is when you know that God's word is being emphasized, and you know that them people on the East Coast be going up and down the East Coast with this so-called gang mob stuff. Then they'll leave the East Coast, end up out there in California somewhere. The retaliation. I'm being realistic. The retaliation. Because see, up there in Chicago, Illinois, see them people on the East Coast, they try to come up there to Illinois. And they call themselves trying to come up there like they got something to say to other people. Nobody needs to listen. The only thing you need to hear is them automatic rifles. Because you ain't got nothing to say to nobody, because you're not right. You're not right. So the only thing you're going to hear is them automatic rifles. You can't come up there. You can't come nowhere, Illinois, you can't come nowhere to the surrounding states. Because I'm constantly trying to make sure get plenty of automatic rifles. And then when it comes to Illinois, to California, see, this is the thing you got to do. You can't go out there when you already left people out there over a period of time in Los Angeles and the state of California. But what you're going to need is some phones. You need a phone for this reason. When the people in California know that the people on the East Coast not right, what they say about them, the Bloods and the Crips and the Stones, what they say about them, you're not right. When you know you're not right, the people in Nebraska, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Oregon, Washington, in those surrounding states, then coming toward this way, Texas and Oklahoma and New Orleans, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Missouri, Kentucky, Wyoming, Montana, all coming back this way, coming back toward the east. All of us living anyway, we been hearing all this blood and cuz and crip and all that stuff down this way. And when you know it's not right, you don't let them people in California leave California and come and see that's the wrong. We need a phone. You don't see in a situation like that. When you have people in California that know the people on the East Coast not right, they'll try to leave because that's who it is. It was them people from the East Coast in the first place. And they've been living out there in California, in Los Angeles, California, in other parts of California. Then they'll try to leave. And when you try to leave, all of us who live in different parts of the country, nobody wants to hear what you got to say. Nobody wants nobody to still be letting these people walk around and live in different parts of the country and not kill you. That's when you use a gun, but it's something you need. When you got people that's put out on the street, and when you identify the Bloods and the Crips, and when you know who they are, and I ain't talking about just no celebrities and entertainers. I'm talking about the people that live in Los Angeles, California, and the surrounding parts of California, and then they try to leave California. Need a phone. Need a phone. See, you know what I mean? You can be online and, things like that. But when you're doing something, you can dial a number in less than a minute, and I can be in contact with whoever I want to be in contact with in any part of the country. It can be a long distance phone call in less than a minute. I can be talking to somebody in another way over, I'm in Tennessee. I can be talking to somebody in up north. I can be talking to somebody in North Dakota. I can be talking to somebody in California in less than a minute. If somebody leave California, I can dial a phone number. I can say so and so and so and so is in the blood gang, is in the Crip gang, and he left. Be on the lookout. Who I'm looking for. You know what he look like? Yeah, I know what he look like. It could be somebody white, could be one of them Mexican. Who you looking for? Well, I'm looking for Jose. What he look like? Well, he about 5 foot tall, dark hair, and so on and so forth. I know who I'm looking for. If you try to change the name, who I'm looking for is a female. What's her name? Well, one of them Mexican girls. What's her name? Well, her name is Maria. What she look like? Well, first of all, she look like one of them Mexican girls. She don't look like she Caucasian. She look like she kind of Indian, like a Native American. She Mexican. Oh, okay. How she wear her hair? I know what I'm looking for. How tall is she? She about 4 foot tall. She short. She a blood gang. She in the blood gang. Oh, okay. I know her. See, need a phone. Cause see, when you try to leave and then you still trying to do that same stuff that was wrong, gonna kill you. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna get ready to do my Instagram. But see, all this stuff about that gang model, see, it's all wrong. And then you got to do all this stuff. Still read God's word, stand on God's word. It's only one church. Always remember, it's only one church. It's only one church. Matthew chapter 16 verses 13 through 19, and also Matthew chapter 18 verses 15 through 20. There's only one church. We're gonna go to the United Nations. Are we going? See, this is the this is the early stage. See, it ain't no American Restoration Movement and all that. The church never went nowhere. See, the problem I always have been sin. Sin. I let it sit there for a few seconds for a reason. I just let it sit there for a few seconds. Sin and sinner. That's what the problem is. It's not that the church was wrong. It was the people that was wrong. You listen to the devil. You commit sin. You're a sinner. You're a sinner. Committing sin, then you're being sinful. So I'm gonna do my Instagram, and then after I do my Instagram, I'm gonna do my Facebook Live. Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis, in the county sheriff in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Monday morning, July the 15th, 2019. The time 2:45 a.m. First thing, thank all my family, my support, for your continued encouragement and support. Anti-gang, anti-gang. Now these are just a few of the free logo design websites that you can go to make anti-gang logo. First, I want to always give thanks to God. Always give thanks to God. Always. For all the guidance and the blessings and the guidance He provides us all with. God. There's no such thing as no devil worship. Never has been, never will be. There's no such thing. Now, I took a little time when I started my YouTube video because I had a few things I needed to say. So I know that I'm just not starting my Instagram video at 2:47 a.m. But like I said, I had some things I needed to say on my YouTube channel. And now I'm doing my Instagram. I'm going to be moving a little fast because I want to spend more time. After I do my Instagram, I'm going to do my Facebook Live. And so, basically, standing on God's word. But I'm going to continue to complain. I'm going to continue to speak out about people saying they're a gang and they're a mob. Then put the stir on the end. Merriam-Webster's Third New International Dictionary, Oxford English Dictionary, it gives you the complete total definition, meaning of the word gang, mob, and stir. And then also people saying they're a boss, they're a goon, they're a thug, they're a crook, they're a hoodlum, they're a mag, they're a player, they're a pimp, they're a whore, they're a hustler, they're a nigga, field nigga, house nigga, it's street slang. People all over the world communicate and use language. Street slang, nothing official, nothing right about saying no street slang. Examples of street slang, tic-tac-toe. Examples of street slang in music, hip-hop, rock and roll, swing, groove, jazz, blues, funk, doo-wop, bebop, is street slang. Nothing right, nothing official about no street slang. When it comes to money, currency exchange, people use money, currency exchange all over the world, and they make a street slang for money, currency exchange. Here in the United States, examples of street slang for money, currency exchange, bucks, rack, stack, bands, bread, dough, scratch, loot, moolah, Benjamin, dead presidents. Excuse me. It's street slang. Ain't none official, none right about no street slang. Now, I graduated high school, and the reason why I say that is because you don't be saying street slang if you saying something out your mouth and you don't have no education. How you know what a gang and a mob is, and a stir? So what I always do when we talking about street slang and saying stuff out your mouth, and then talking about wearing some colors and talking about turning your hat to the left and the right. If you don't have no education, how you know what the left and the right is? You don't have no education, how you know what the right is, how you know to the left? And then how you know all these symbols and things of this nature? You don't have no education. That's the whole point I've been making. If you don't have no education, then how you know what all this stuff is? You saying all this nonsense, then talking about some literature. You don't have no education. You don't have no education, then how you know? I graduated high school. And I do have some years of college. I got a high school diploma, not a GED, high school diploma. And I got some years of college. I haven't earned my associate degree in business administration, concentration mark from Monroe College online yet. But I took a break. Now some people, they earn a GED. They don't have a high school diploma, they got a GED. And then they went on to college, social degree, bachelor degree, master degree, PhD. Now then you have those other people who didn't go that far in school for whatever reason. Then you don't know reading, you don't know writing, you don't know math and science, you don't know technology, you don't know social studies. And then when it comes to vocational technical training, you don't know what it is. On-the-job training is on-the-job training. Then you have those other people that did go further in school. They graduated high school, took the ACT, SAT, and they went on to college, earned a social degree, bachelor degree, master degree, PhD, a sorority and fraternity. Now, Harvard University is the oldest institution of higher learning in the United States, founded March 13, 1639, Cambridge, Massachusetts. William and Mary College, Williamsburg, Virginia, founded February 8, 1693, second oldest institution of higher learning in the United States of America. Phi Beta Kappa Society, founded December 5, 1776, the College of William and Mary is recognized as the first Big-letter student society in North America. Then Alpha Delta Pi, first sorority, founded in 1851, Wesleyan College, Macon, Georgia. The first organization to adopt the word sorority was Gamma Phi Beta, established on November 11, 1874, Syracuse University, Syracuse, New York. And then you had the first women's fraternity at DePaul College, 18-something. But now the basis of the sorority and fraternity, them old world secret societies. For example, the Eastern Star, the Freemasons, they be talking about Euclid, the mathematician, lived in Alexander, Egypt. 1390, 1425, mentioned in the Holloway manuscript, the Reed's poem, in the Cook manuscript. And also the Downing manuscript. And then examples of them old world secret society. Skull and Bone, Rosicrucian, the Sons of Living, Thug Society, Private Scion, Ordo Templi Orientis, the Knights of the Golden Eagle, the Woodmen, the Ancient Arabic Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, the Improved Order of Raymond, the P.O. Sisterhood, the Eastern Star, the Freemasons, the Elks, the Loyal Order of Moose, the Bilderberg Group, the Ku Klux Klan, the Knights of Bethesda, Knights of Columbus, the Illuminati, the Forester Society, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the Mystic Order of the Veiled Prophets of the Enchanted Ram, the United Order of the Golden Cross, the United Ancient Order of Druids, the National Grand, the Ancient Order of Herbernan, the Opus Dei, the Knights Templar, the Scottish Rite. It's some more. It's just a few. It's some more. Now, the Spanish Garduna, the Carbonaria, the Black Hand. You say Mafia, that's Afro-Asiatic. You say Cosa Nostra, that's Latin. The Triad, the Yakuza, the Osirico. It's just a few. It's some more. the sorority fraternity. Don't be misled by the sorority fraternity. They commit crimes on and off the college and university campus. The initiation rituals. They use hazing. Hazing is a crime. The United States Department of Justice. Hazing is a crime. And those initiation rituals, devil worship. It's devil worship. And they use and abuse tobacco products. For example, chewing tobacco, cigarettes and cigars. They put drugs in the cigarette and cigar. They indulge in gambling and games of chance. They use and abuse alcohol and drugs. They indulge in immoral activities. They lie, steal, and cheat. Assault, verbal, physical, sexual, harassment, any kind of form of harassment. Bribery, extortion, robbery, burglary. They indulge in sexual deviance and depravity. Look, don't let the sorority and fraternity mislead you because they're on a college and university campus and they took the ACT and SAT and you think they know, they so smart that they should know better. They criminals. 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 Don't join the sorority fraternity. Get out of the sorority fraternity. Discourage others from being in the sorority fraternity. Expose the sorority fraternity. Renounce the whole concept and idea. Renounce all those persons who started the sorority fraternity, them old world secret societies. Denounce the whole concept and idea of the sorority fraternity and them old world secret society. Denounce. Denounce. Look, the sorority fraternity, they work and they manage the businesses, companies, and corporations. They use and misuse the background check. They commit crimes against humanity, atrocities. They violate human rights and civil rights. Inhumanity, genocide, ethnic cleansing, all forms of discrimination and harassment. They pollute the air, ground, and water, as well as noise pollution. They destroy the environment, they destroy nature, they destroy wildlife. Don't let the sorority fraternity mislead you, and as well as them old world secret society. Don't be misled. They use them they call themselves trying to practice devil worship. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as worshiping the devil. Never has been. They be lying. They lying. They see them initiation rituals. See, animal sacrificing, human sacrificing period. They sacrificing to the devil. Animal sacrifice for them poachers. People doing all that poaching. It's animal sacrifice. And then it's all kind of ways people sacrifice animals. And then when it comes to human sacrifice, drugs, alcohol, gangs, street violence, abortions, and putting people in public housing projects and denying them jobs and starving you to death. Slavery. It's human sacrifice. It's human sacrifice. They sacrificing to the devil. People committing suicide. Now, when you talk about suicide, you have people who have depression. That's not what we talking about. We talking about people that are trying to kill themselves because they trying to sacrifice themselves to the devil. Some people actually go out here and commit a crime, get into a shootout with the police, because they just ain't got nothing else to live for. And, they want to sacrifice themselves to the devil. They gonna go out and do all this evil stuff, and then when they can't go no further, they'll just go out there and try to kill themselves. They get into a shootout with the police, get into a high-speed chase and crash the car and die. So don't let the sorority and fraternity mislead you. Now this is the International Bill of Human Rights. And this is the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. And this is the Declaration of the Rights of the Child. This is the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. This is the world's oldest human rights organization, Anti-Slavery International. This is the International Federation for Human Rights. This is the world's oldest international conservation organization, BirdLife International. And this is Fauna and Flora International, was the world's first international wildlife conservation organization. This is the world's oldest global environmental organization, International Union for Conservation, and also the World Wildlife Fund. Now, there's just a few organizations. There's some more. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Global Rights Frontline Defenders, Human Rights Without Frontiers, the International Center for Human Rights, the Wildlife Conservation Network, Endangered Wildlife Trust, Biodiversity and Nature Conservancy Association, Rare Species Conservation Center, the Wildlife Research and Conservation Trust, the Rainforest Trust, the International Rainforest Conservation Organization, Rainforest Alliance, the Rainforest Action Network, Conservation International, Wildlife Conservation Society, Conservation Fund, the League of Conservation Voters, the Earthwatch Institute, Conservative Association, Earth Justice, the Conservation Volunteers. Biodiversity International, Earth Day Network, Environmental Defense Fund, Friends of the Earth, Friends of Nature, Greenpeace, the Nature Conservancy, Wildlife Conservation Society, Soil and Water Conservation, Clean Water Action, World Water Council, Marine Conservation Institute, Marine Conservation Alliance, Oceanic Preservation Society, Oceanic Society, Global Ocean Commission, the International Marine Life Alliance. It's just a few. There's some more. And these organizations be trying to, like I've been saying, they're trying to stop all the crimes that the sorority and the fraternities, including them old world secret society, they be committing. And like I say, they work and they manage the businesses, the companies and the corporations that and they use and misuse the background check. They can make crimes against humanity atrocities violate human rights and civil rights, inhumanity, genocide, and ethnic cleansing. All forms of discrimination and harassment. They pollute the air, ground, and water, as well as noise pollution. They destroy the environment. They destroy nature. They destroy wildlife. Don't let the sorority and the fraternity mislead you. Don't be misled by the sorority and the fraternity. All that stuff about animal sacrifice and human sacrifices is true. Take it serious. People out here smoking marijuana and using all those narcotics, drugs, alcohol, abusing alcohol and drugs. Take it serious. Animal sacrificing. Take it serious. You know, we having all these problems with the climate. Take it serious. Animal sacrifice and human sacrifice. And see, the history. That's the reason why the pre-13 colony history is so important. The history before the 13 colony is so important. That's the reason why. Because that devil worship. That devil worship. People in the past who were deceived by the devil. For example, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Girgasites, the Hittites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Midianites, the Moabites, the Philistines, and all the rest of them. They were deceived by the devil, including people today. And see, them old world secret societies, they be listening to them people who were deceived by the devil. And the sororities and the fraternities, they be listening to the old world secret societies who be listening to them same people from the past who were deceived by the devil. Then the street gang, street organization, they listening to the sorority and the fraternities who listening to the old world secret society who listening to them people from the past who were deceived by the devil. and so on and so forth. So don't misunderstand. Don't misunderstand none of the information that's being presented. See, all that stuff about devil worship is wrong. There's no such thing as worshiping the devil. It's only one church. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, established one church. One. Matthew chapter 16 verses 13 through 19 and Matthew chapter 18 verses 15 through 20 is only one. One church. That's the only church. That's the only church. That's the one and only church. Gonna go to the United Nations and gonna make it official. See, every nation on this earth is a member of the United Nations. Gonna make it official. And like I've been saying over and over again, criminal and civil charges will be filed. Because you commit a crime. There's no such thing as all these different people trying to start a church. See, you be lying. You lying. And so, you be lying. we're going to go to the quick reference, Wikipedia. Now, this is the list of place names of Native American origin in the United States. Now, state names, the list of place names of Native American origin in the United States. See, this is the reason why the pre-13 colony history is so important. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Connecticut, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Mexico, North and South Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Wisconsin, Wyoming. See, before the pirates brought the first slaves here to America, and before them explorers came from Europe, before the explorers came, the Native Americans and first Americans were living, in what they refer to today as the New World. And then, the explorers came over, and then after the explorers came over, we know that the pirates were transporting slaves, because the slave trade in Cilicia, in what modern day Turkey, Cilicia and Tarsus, the slave trade. Then you had the East African slave trade. Then you had the West African or the transatlantic slave trade. And the pirates, they were the majority of the slave transporting the slave were done by the pirates. And we know that the first African slaves that were brought here, they came from Angola, and the pirates wanted to trade slaves for supplies, but they ran out of supplies, and as you know, the rest is history. They started bringing slaves from sub-Saharan Africa to America, to the East Coast, and then also there were other slave ports in Galveston, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, slave port, the state of Mississippi, slave port. The last slaves came from sub-Saharan Africa, came to the state of Alabama, and also the state of Florida, as you know, on both sides, the Atlantic side and the Gulf of Mexico side, slave port, and also Veracruz, Mexico, slave port. Now let me scroll down to the bottom where it says see also. A list of place names of indigenous origin in the Americas. And this is the pirates and piracy. Now we're gonna scroll down to the bottom. Now let me see. The etymology, history of piracy, culture, social structure, so on and so forth. We say see also. I think there's a book, A General History of the Pirates. Yeah, that one is a historical book on pirates. Let me scroll down. Let me see here. You have references. People wrote books, and when you read a book, books have references. Let me see. Scroll down. Then you have further reading. Then you have external links. So now. Now let me go over here to the National Gang Center Bulletin. And the title of that bulletin is a history of street gangs in the United States. And again, that's the National Gang Center Bulletin. And the title is History of Street Gangs in the United States. Now there are books in the bulletin. There are books in this bulletin. Let me scroll down here because it's a lot of information. And let me see. Let me go back up here right quick. Now they were written by Mr. James C. Howell and Mr. Mr. John P. Moore. That's who wrote this. Now let me scroll down. Let me scroll down here to the bottom. Let me scroll down. Okay, now you have references. That's what I was looking at. The references. You have references, and then so on and so forth. Okay. Now we're going over. Now we're going to the quick reference Wikipedia, because you're gonna find that same information, and it's titled "Gangs in the United States." Now let me scroll down here. Now, we got reasons for joining, activity type, demographics, history. See also crime in the United States, gang, organized crime, list of gangs in the United States. Let me see references. Okay, references. Okay, then you have external links, media related to gangs, organized crime, National Gang Threat Assessment, Street Gang Alliance Guide. Okay. Now what time is it? Okay. Now, as you like I say, all that stuff is wrong. All this gang, mob, and organized crime, all that stuff wrong. It's devil worship. No such thing as devil worship. No such thing as worshiping the devil. Never has been. That's the point. It never has been. Never has been, never will be. The Catholic Church, organized crime, some wannabe devil worship, Latin Rite, Alexandrian Rite, Armenian Rite, Byzantine Rite, East Syrian Rite, West Syrian Rite. Protestant Reformation movement, church in 95 theses, major branches, minor branches, interdenominational movement, other development related movements. Then you have the American Restoration Movement. Now you know the Protestant Reformation Movement, 95 Thesis Church. That is the Catholic Church. That is the Catholic Church. It's organized crime. It's a wannabe devil worship. The American Restoration Movement, Stone Camel Movement, same thing. It's the Catholic Church. See, they talking about going back to the 1st century. That's when the Catholic Church, Saint Ignatius of Antioch wrote several letters, and one of the letters that Saint Ignatius of Antioch wrote, he wrote to the Smyrnaeans, and in that letter, he wrote the phrase Catholic Church. And that was in the 1st century. That was in the 1st century. Now, as you know, Saint Ignatius of Antioch, at the Roman Colosseum, in front of 50,000 plus fans, was eaten alive by lions. Not one lion. According to the historians, lions, plural, meaning more than one. Now, the American Restoration Movement, Stone Camel Movement, Churches of Christ, Unaffiliated Christian Church, Church of Christ Congregation, the Christian Church, Disciples of Christ. It's the Catholic Church. It's the Catholic Church. Organized crime, some wannabe devil worship. And then you have all these man-made religious organizations like, for example, Jim Jones, the cults, David Koresh, you understand, Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, the Mormon Church, the Mennonites, the Amish. I had to think about the Amish, the Zoroastrian had a prophet. Islam, as you know, has a prophet. Muhammad, that's Sunni Muslim, and Prophet Ali, that's the Shiite Muslim. The Baha'i, they had a prophet, and the Sikhs, they also had a prophet. And then you got these groups like the Moorish Science Temple, the Nation of Islam, the 5% Nation, the American Muslim Society, Khalid Muhammad, he was affiliated with the Nation of Islam, and he started the new Black Panther Party, and also, the Black Hebrew Israelites, for example, over there in Israel, Ben Ami, and the Rastafarian movement. Then you have all these various Pan-Africanists, you understand? See, it's all organized crime, wannabe devil worship. There's no such thing. Now, Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, a wannabe occultist. That's what, the occult. The occult. And that's what he was. He was an occultist. And he was a devil worshiper, a liar, murderer, the devil himself. He called himself an apostle in those epistles. He wrote all those epistles. And in those epistles, he called himself an apostle. He was lying. He was lying. That's the occult. He not no apostle. He not no apostle. Never has been. He was lying. He wrote those epistles. And that was the man-made religion organization be used. This is one of them. For example, Romans chapter 16, verse 16. Salute one another with the holy kiss. The church with the suffix ES of Christ salute you. Another verse that the man-made religion was they used, 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 4. So we ourselves glory in you in the church with the suffix ES of God for your patience and faith in all your persecution and tribulation that ye endure. This is a list of occult terms from A to Z. Now this is a list of occult symbols. Now, and this is world religious and occult symbols. And these are occult symbols. Now these are just a few of the free logo design websites you can go to make anti-gang logo. Now I'm gonna get ready to end my Instagram video, and I'm gonna do my Facebook live video after I end my Instagram video. Now, I just ended my Instagram video. Now I'm gonna do my Facebook live video. Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, in the county of Shelby. It's in the state of Tennessee today. It's early Monday morning, July the 15th, 2019. The time 3:39 a.m. First, I thank all my family, my support for your continued encouragement and support. Anti-gang. Anti-gang. Now these are just a few of the free logo design websites that you can go to make anti-gang logo. Now remember these words: coercion, coerce, sexual coercion, psychological coercion, psychological manipulation, psychological abuse. Excuse me. Now, I'm starting my Facebook Live video. I just ended my Instagram video, and as always, my YouTube channel is recorded. And before I even started my Instagram video, it took a little time and did a little talking on my YouTube channel before I did my Instagram video. So now I'm doing my Facebook Live video. I'm going to continue to complain. I'm going to continue to speak out. People saying they are a gang, they are a mob. They put stir on the end. Merriam-Webster Sterling International Dictionary, Oxford English Dictionary gives you the complete, total definition meaning of the word gang, mob, any and every other word. People saying they are boss, they are goon, they are thug, they are crook, they are hoodlum, they are mac, they are player, they are pimp, they are whore, they are hustler, they are nigga, field nigga houseman. It's street slang. People all over earth communicate and use language. Examples of street slang: tic-tac-toe. Examples of street slang in music: hip hop, rock and roll, swing and groove, jazz, blues, funk, doo-wop, bebop. It's street slang. Ain't nothing official right about no street slang now. When it comes to money, currency exchange, people all over the earth use money, they use currency and use exchange, and they make up street slang for money, currency exchange. Examples of street slang here in the United States of America for money, currency exchange: bucks, rack, stack, bands, bread, dough, scratch, loot, move, Benjamin dead president. Ain't nothing official or right about no street slang. Excuse me. Now, I graduated high school, and the reason why I say that is for this reason. Person that don't have no education, you don't know. How you gonna pronounce a word and you don't even know the meaning, the etymology, usage of the word? You don't know that. You don't know. You don't know. How you gonna talk about the left and the right? You don't have education. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know anything about no symbols. You don't know, because you haven't been educated. You've been lied to. You've been deceived by people in the past, and that's who you be listening to. They mentioned in the Old Testament the Perizzites, the Girgasites, the Jebusites, the Hivites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Moabites, the Midianites, the Philistines, and then some more. They were deceived by the devil, and that's who them old world secret societies be listening to. And the sorority and fraternity, they be listening to them old world secret society. And the street organizations, street gangs, they be listening to the sorority and the fraternity. You've been lied to, and then you be lying. And like I say, like I said, I graduated high school and got some years of college. I haven't earned my associate degree in business administration, contracts and marketing from Monroe College yet, because I took a break. Now some people, they got a GED, and then they went on earn an associate degree, bachelor degree, PhD, Now you have those people who just didn't go that far in school, period. And if you ain't go that far in school, you don't know reading, you don't know writing, and you don't know math, you don't know science and technology, you don't know social studies. And on vocational technical training, you don't know that either. On-the-job training is on-the-job training. Then you had those people that did go further in school. They took the ACT and the SAT. Then they went on to college and university, earned a social degree, bachelor degree, master degree, PhD, the sorority and the fraternity. Now, Harvard University is the oldest institution of higher learning in the United States, founded March 13, 1639. Came Massachusetts. William Mary College, Williamsburg, Virginia, founded February 8, 1693. Second oldest institution of higher learning in the United States of America. Phi Beta Kappa Society, founded December the 5th, 1776. The College of William and Mary was recognized as the first Greek letter student society in North America. Alpha Delta Pi First Sorority, founded in 1851, Wesleyan College in Macon, Georgia. The first organization to adopt the word sorority was Gamma Phi Beta, established on November 11, 1874, Syracuse University, Syracuse, New York. The first women's fraternity, DePaul College, 18-something. Now, the basis of the sorority and fraternity, them old world secret societies. The East, for example, the Eastern Star of the Freemasons. They be talking about Euclid and the mathematician there, the Alexander of Egypt, 1390, 1425, mentioned in the Hollowell manuscript, the Reader's poem, the Cook manuscript. And the Dowling manuscript. And also examples of them old world secret society, Skull and Bone, Rosicrucians, the Sons of Liberty, Thug Society, the Proud Zion, Ordo Templar Orient, the Knights of the Golden Eagle, the Woodmen, the Ancient Arab Order of Nobles of the Mist Shrine, the Approved Order of the Raven, the P.O. Sisterhood, the Eastern Star Freemasons, the Lower Order of Moose, the Elks, the Bilderberg Group, the Ku Klux Klan, Knights of Pathan, Knights of Columbus, the Illuminati Forest Society, Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the Mystic Order of the Veiled Prophet of the Enchanted Realm, United Order of the Golden Cross, United Ancient Order of Druid National Reign, the Ancient Order of Hermannans, the Opus Dei, the Knights Templar, the Scottish Rite. It's just a few. There's some more. The Gardun, the Spanish Gardun, the Carbonarian, the Black Hand. You say Mafia. It's Afro-Asiatic. You say Costa Nostra. It's Latin. The Triad, the Yakuza, the Osiris. It's just a few. There's some more. And see, don't let the sorority and fraternity mislead you. Don't be misled by the sorority and fraternity. The sorority and fraternity, as you know, they commit crimes on and off the college and university campus. The United States Department of Justice. Hazing is a crime. They use hazing in the initiation rituals. And all them initiation rituals. It's devil worship. It's devil worship. They use and abuse tobacco products, chewing tobacco, cigarette, cigar. They put drugs in the cigarette and cigar. And they indulge in gambling and games of chance. They use and abuse alcohol and drugs. They indulge in immoral activity, robbery, burglary, verbal, physical, and sexual assault. Extortion, bribery, you name it. They don't care about what they do. they criminals. The sorority and fraternity, they criminals. They indulge in sexual deviance and depravity. And see, all that stuff about human sacrifice and animal and human sacrifice and devil worship. They do all that sacrifice to the devil. And there's no such thing as worshiping the devil. Never has been. It never has been. It never has. There's never been any such thing as worshiping the devil. There's only one church. Only one church. Only one. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Son of God, established only one church. Matthew chapter 16, verses 13 through 19. Matthew chapter 18, verses 15 through 20. There's only one church. And that church never was wrong. It was the people that's wrong. Sin. Being a sinner. Being sinful. That's what's wrong. Get out of the sorority and fraternity. Don't join the sorority and fraternity. Discourage others from joining the sorority and fraternity. And expose the sorority and fraternity. Expose the sorority and fraternity. And also renounce all the individuals that started the sorority and fraternity, them old world secret society. Denounce the concept, the idea of the sorority and fraternity, including them old world secret society. The sorority and fraternity, they work and they manage the businesses, the companies, and the corporations. And they use and misuse the background check. They can make crimes against humanity, atrocities, violate human and civil rights, inhumanity, genocide, and ethnic cleansing. All forms of discrimination and harassment. They pollute the air, ground, and water, as well as noise pollute. They destroy the environment. They destroy nature. They destroy wildlife. Don't let the sorority and fraternity mislead you. There's stuff about animal and human sacrifice, poaching. That poaching, all that poaching period, is animal sacrifice. That's what them poachers are. They some devil worship, some wannabe devil worship. That's what they are, some wannabe devil worship. And like I say, don't let the sorority and fraternity mislead you. This is the International Bill on Human Rights. And this is the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. And this is the Declaration of the Rights of the Child. And this is the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. And this is the world's oldest human rights organization, Anti-Slavery International. And this is the International Federation for Human Rights. This is the world's oldest international conservation organization, BirdLife International. Then this is Fauna and Flora International, was the world's first international wildlife conservation organization. And this is the world's oldest global environmental organization, International Union for Conservation of Nature, also the World Wildlife Fund. Now, those not the only organizations. There's some more. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Global Rights, Frontline Defending Human Rights, Not Frontier, International Center for Human Rights, and also Conservation International, Wildlife Conservation Society, Conservation Fund, the League of Conservation Voting, Earth Watch Institute, Conservation Association, Earth Justice, Conservation Volunteers, Wildlife Conservation Network, Endangered Wildlife Trust, Biodiversity and Nature Conservancy Association, Rare Species Conservation Center, Wildlife Research and Conservation Trust, the Rainforest Trust, the International Rainforest Conservation Organizations, the Rainforest Alliance, the Rainforest Action Network. Biodiversity International, Earth Day Network, Environmental Defense Fund, Friends of the Earth, Friends of Nature, Greenpeace, the Nature Conservancy, Wildlife Conservation Society, Soil and Water Conservation, Clean Water Action, World Water Council, Marine Conservation Institute, Marine Conservation Alliance, Oceanic Preservation Society, Oceanic Society, Global Ocean Commission, the International Marine Life Alliance. They're just a few. There are many, many more organizations such as the one we just mentioned. They're trying to end, they're trying to stop all the crimes that the sorority and the fraternity, them old world secret society, that they commit. They work and they manage the businesses, companies, and corporations. And like I said, they use and misuse the background check. They commit crimes against humanity, atrocities. They violate human rights and civil rights, inhumanity, genocide, ethnic cleansing, all forms of discrimination and harassment. They pollute the air, ground, water, as well as noise pollution. They destroy the environment, they destroy nature, they destroy wildlife. Whatever you do, don't let the sorority and the fraternity and the old world secret society mislead you. There's no such thing, no devil worship. Never has been. It's a lie. You're lying. There's no such thing as worshiping the devil. That's the reason why the pre-13 colony history is so important. It's so important. Don't never negate the pre-13 colony history. Because the Native Americans, the first Americans, they were living here in what they call the New World. And then the explorers came over. And then later on, the pirates, with all that slavery in Cilicia, modern day Turkey and Cilicia, the East African slave trade, and then you had the West African slave trade, or the transatlantic slave trade, where Africans from sub-Saharan Africa, the Niger Congo, were being transported from sub-Saharan Africa to other parts of the earth to be slaves. And that is devil worship. That's another form of human sacrifice. And then you had slaves, the pirates. The first slaves that came to North America came from Angola. And they wanted to trade the slaves. The pirates wanted to trade those slaves for supplies. And after that, as you know, it was slaves being brought from sub-Saharan Africa to the east coast of America. And there were other slave ports. Galveston, Texas, slave port. New Orleans, Louisiana, slave port. The state of Mississippi, slave port. The last slaves to be brought to America from sub-Saharan Africa came to the state of Alabama. And as you know, the state of Florida, on both sides, the Atlantic side and the Gulf of Mexico side, slave ports. Slave ports. Veracruz, Mexico, slave port. Now this is a list of place names of Native American origin in the United States. Now we have state names like Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Connecticut, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Mexico, North and South Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas, Utah, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. Now let me scroll down to where it says see also the list of place names of indigenous origin in the Americas. Now you have piracy and pirates. Going to the quick reference on Wikipedia. Now let me scroll down. Now you had the etymology, you had the history of piracy, culture, and structure, and so on and so forth. Now it says see also. Now you have a general history of the pirates, a historical book on pirates, and we have references. Books. The books themselves have references. And then let me see now. Then you have further reading. Then some external links and so on. Now, excuse me. Now this is the National Gang Center Bulletin, and it was written by Mr. James C. Howell and Mr. John P. Moore. Excuse me. Like I said, this is the National Gang Center Bulletin, and it's titled History of Street Gangs in the United States. Now let me scroll down to the bottom. Now there are books in this bulletin. There are books. So when you read this bulletin, read the books in the bulletin. Now let me see here. There are references. There are many references in the bulletin to refer to. Okay. And excuse me. Now we can go to the quick reference Wikipedia, and we can find that same information on Wikipedia, and it's titled Gangs in the United States. Now you have reasons for joining and activities and types, demographics, the history of gangs in the United States, and then say see also crime in the United States, gang, organized crime, list of gangs in the United States. You have references, many references to refer to. Now when you read a book, books in the back of the book, you have references in the book. Then you have of course external links. So, let's see. So like I said, don't let the sorority and the fraternity mislead you. In them old world secret societies. That's where all this stuff came from. And them want to be devil worship. Now, now the Catholic Church, the Latin Rite, the Alexandrian Rite, the Armenian Rite, the Byzantine Rite, the East Syrian Rite, and the West Syrian Rite. That's organized crime, but want to be devil worship. The Protestant Reformation movement, churches, 95 theses, major branches, minor branches, interdenominational movement, other developments, and related movements. That's the Catholic Church. And it's saying organized crime, wannabe devil worship. The American Restoration Movement, Stone Campbell movement. They talking about they going back to the first century. And when they say that, they talking about going back to the first century when the Catholic Church, Saint Ignatius of Antioch, he wrote several letters. One of the letters he wrote to the Smyrnaeans, he wrote the phrase Catholic Church. And as you know, after that, in front of 50,000 plus fans at the Roman Coliseum, Saint Ignatius of Antioch, I had to refer back to the historical documentation on what day of the week it was. But he was eaten by lions. He was eaten alive by lions. Now, it wasn't no one lion, it was lions, meaning plural, more than one. And the American Restoration Movement, Stone Campbell movement, the Churches of Christ, the unaffiliated Christian Church, Church of Christ Congregation, the Christian Church Disciples of Christ. It's organized crime, wannabe devil worship. It's the Catholic Church. And then you have all these other man-made religious organizations. For example, the cults like Jim Jones and David Koresh. The Amish, the Mennonites, the Mormon Church, L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology. Zoroaster, he was a prophet. Islam, Prophet Muhammad, that's a Sunni Muslim. Prophet Ali, that's a Shiite Muslim. The Baha'i, they had a prophet. The Sikhs, they had a prophet. Now you have organizations such as the Moorish Science Temple, the Nation of Islam, the 5% Nation, the American Muslim Society. Now, Khalid Muhammad, he was affiliated with the Nation of Islam. All these black Hebrew Israelites, for example, over there in Israel, Ben Ami, and you have all these Rastafarians, and all these Pan-Africanists. See, it's all devil worship. That's what it is, all devil worship. Now, Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul. Now, as you know, he wrote all those epistles. And in all those epistles, he called himself an apostle. He was lying. He was lying. He's not no apostle. He lying. Now, the man-made religion, they be using those epistles. It's Saul from Tarsus, self-proclaimed Apostle Paul wrote. Romans chapter 16, verse 16, salute one another with the holy kiss, the church with the suffix ES of Christ salute. Another verse that Saul from Tarsus, self-proclaimed Apostle Paul wrote, that the man-made religion organization be used, 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 4, so that we ourselves glory you in the church with the suffix ES, churches of God, for your patient faith and all your persecution and tribulation that ye endure. And this is a list of occult terms from A to Z. And this is a list of occult symbols. And this is world religions and occult symbols. And these are occult symbols. what I'm gonna do before I end this video and then start the next video. Now, the United States government enact laws just like all governments on the earth. They enact laws that intend to make each and every one of us safe from crime, organized crime, as well as this so-called devil worship. Now, the United States government enacted the Organized Crime Control Act of 1970 and Title IX of the Organized Crime Control Act of 1997, the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, the RICO Act is the anti-gang, the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Act of 1974 established the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, as well as other related legislation. Anti-gang, the Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, Office of Juvenile Justice, Delinquency Prevention, and the Comprehensive Gang Model, Office of Juvenile Justice, Delinquency Prevention, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, Office of Justice Program, the United States Department of Justice, the Office of Justice Program, Bureau of Justice Assistance, United States Department of Justice, Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative Project, Safe Neighborhood, the United States Department of Justice, Office of Communal-Oriented Policing Service, Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, the United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, Bureau of Justice Assistance, International Narcotic Law Enforcement Affairs, United States Department of State, Institute of Intergovernmental Affairs, Gang Resistant Education and Training, the GREAT Program, the United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, Office of Juvenile Justice, Delinquency Prevention, October 2009, the National Youth Gang Center, which have been funded by the Office of Juvenile Justice, Delinquency Prevention, since 1995, merged with the National Gang Center, which have been funded by the Bureau of Justice Assistance since 2003. The National Gang Center compilation of state laws against gang prevention overview research and program. Mr. James said, Office of Juvenile Justice, Delinquency Prevention, the United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, the Office of Juvenile Justice, Delinquency Prevention, National Gang Center Bulletin, title, History of Street Gangs in the United States. Also, you can go to the quick reference, Wikipedia, find the same information title, Gangs in the United States. The United States Department of Justice, Office of the United States Attorney's Manual, 1457 Criminal Street Gang Statute, 18 United States Code 521. The United States Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, National Gang Intelligence Center, the United States Department of Justice, Organized Crime Gang Section, and other federal, state, and local agencies. The United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, National Institute of Justice, Anti-Gang Strategy, Prevention, Intervention, Assessment, and Suppression. The United States Department of Justice, the Office of Justice Program, National Institute of Justice, the United States Department of Health and Human Services, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, National Center for Injury Prevention and Control, Changing Course, Preventing Gang Membership, also striving to reduce youth violence everywhere. The United States Department of Justice, United States Department of Education, United States Department of Health and Human Services, United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, United States Department of Labor, and the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, National Forum Youth Violence Prevention Forum. You can go to youth.gov and be informed about the National Forum Youth Violence Prevention, as well as the Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, the Comprehensive Gang Model. The United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, National Crime Prevention Council, keeping kids out of gangs. And also the United States Department of Justice, anti-hazing. You can go to lawyers.com and be informed about anti-hazing. Now, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to end this video, because it's going to be 2 parts, and it's going to be titled, it's going to be dated July the 15th, 2019. Part 1.